Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. This module is on the disinfection process of the wastewater by chlorination, ozonation and UV light. This module is also a continuation of the previous module in which we had learnt about the different physico-chemical disinfection processes, the types of disinfectants, factors affecting the efficiency of the disinfectants as well as their mode of action. In this module, we will specifically study the chlorination, ozonation and UV light as a disinfectant treatment for the wastewater. The disinfection treatment of water includes mainly chlorination, ozonation or ultraviolet light, and in combination with conventional treatment systems such as coagulation, flocculation, sedimentation and filtration, good results of wastewater treatment are achieved. Let us start with ultraviolet light. Ultraviolet light was discovered as a part of electromagnetic spectrum in 1801, and this UV light refers to radiation with wavelengths between 30 to 400 nanometers. The portion of electromagnetic spectrum between the X-rays and the visible light. UV light commonly is referred as the black light because the human eye cannot see this. The UV spectrum is divided into three parts: UVA, which is in the range of 315 to 400 nanometer, UVB 280 nanometer to 315 nanometer and UVC 220 to 280 nanometer. The most harmful is the UVC part, which is of the range of 220 to 280 nanometer, because in this range the biomolecules like proteins, RNA and DNA they absorb, and these radiations can lead to cell mutations and is carcinogenic. So, this range is considered to be most germicidal, means that they are capable of inactivating the microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses and protozoa. This capability has allowed the widespread adoption of UV light as an environmental friendly, chemical free and highly effective way to disinfect and safeguard water against the harmful microorganisms. UV radiations were first of all were used for disinfection of the drinking water in Marseilles in France in 1910, and later on now it has become a widely accepted technique for the disinfection of the wastewater. Low pressure mercury lamps are mostly used in the disinfection process as they generate huge amount of UV light. Coming to the mechanism of deactivation of the microorganisms by the UV light. This mechanism was described in 211 by Bolton. He said that the bacteria, viruses and protozoa, when they are exposed to the germicidal wavelength of the ultraviolet light, they are rendered incapable of reproducing and infecting due to the damage to their nucleic acid. The high energy associated with the short wavelength UV, primarily at 254 nanometer, is absorbed by the cellular RNA and DNA. This absorption of UV energy forms a new bond between the adjacent nucleotides, creating the dimers, and the dimerization of the adjacent nucleotides, particularly the thymine dimers, is the most common photochemical damage, and the formation of numerous thymine dimers in the DNA of the infectious microorganisms prevent the replication and their ability to infect the host cell. The high dose of UV radiation causes the disruption of the membrane proteins and ultimately the death of the microbial cell. Photochemical damage caused by the UV may be repaired by some of the organisms if the UV dose is too low via the photoreactivation or the dark repair. However, there is little or no potential for photoreactivation at the doses which are higher than 12 millijoules per centimeter square. In fact, it has been shown that some organisms like the Cryptosporidium do not exhibit any evidence of repair under the light and dark conditions. In fact, it has been shown that some organisms like Cryptosporidium do not exhibit any evidence of repair under light and dark conditions following the low pressure or medium pressure lamp irradiation at the UV dose as low as 3 millijoules per centimeter square. The UV light has demonstrated efficacy against the pathogenic organisms including the microorganisms responsible to cause the waterborne diseases like cholera, typhoid, polio, hepatitis, as well as other bacterial, viral and parasitic diseases. Generally, the order of susceptibility of the microorganisms to UV radiation is bacteria, they are most susceptible, followed by viruses, followed by bacterial spores, and the protozoans, they are least susceptible. In addition, the UV light can destroy the chemical contaminants such as pesticides, industrial solvents and pharmaceuticals through a process called UV oxidation. UV light offers a key advantage over the chlorine based disinfection process due to its ability to inactivate protozoa that threaten the public health, most notably the Cryptosporidium and Giardia. The release of these harmful microorganisms into the receiving lakes and rivers by the wastewater facilities utilizing chlorine disinfection increases the potential of contamination in communities that rely on these water bodies for the drinking as a source of drinking water. Drinking water treatment plants can benefit by using UV since it can easily inactivate these chlorine resistant pathogens, that is the protozoa, while reducing the usage of chlorine byproduct formation. The disinfection by UV is considered good than the chlorine or other chemicals because no chemicals are used in this process and no byproducts are formed. There is one limitation in the UV disinfection process, that is there is a need for the frequent lamp maintenance and replacement and the need for a highly treated effluent to ensure the target microorganisms are not shielded from the UV radiation, because any solid present in the effluent may protect the microorganism from the UV light. So, in this case the water to be treated has to be free from any suspended particles. Let us discuss the advantages of UV disinfection. This UV disinfection technology is capable of producing effective disinfection of the wastewater treatment plant effluent while reducing the safety and environmental toxicity issues, because ultraviolet light is a chemical free process that adds nothing to the water except the ultraviolet light, and this UV light requires no transportation, storage or handling of toxic or corrosive chemicals, and therefore, it is a safety benefit for the plant operators and the surrounding community. UV treatment creates no carcinogenic disinfection byproducts that could adversely affect the quality of the treated water. Next, UV is highly effective at inactivating a broad range of microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, including the chlorine resistant protozoan like Cryptosporidium and Giardia, which are the pathogenic microorganisms present in the wastewater. UV can be used alone or in combination with hydrogen peroxide. It also oxidizes the organic contaminants along with the disinfection in the wastewater. The application of the UV for the on-site system is also an advantage. The UV treatment is used for the pre-treatment of wastewater for the on-site sewage facilities. The treatment efficiency is maximized by minimizing the turbidity of the wastewater, and the water should be exposed to irradiation in a continuous flow process. The quantity of radiation to be delivered is measured in microwatts second per square centimeter, and this intensity, it depends upon the various factors of the wastewater like the transmittance value of the wastewater, presence of bacteria and the pathogens, the conditions of the lamp and the UV sleeve. The commercial wastewater systems have a mercury vapor lamp of different pressures, horizontal or vertical layout of the irradiation chamber, where the quartz or Teflon is acting as the sleeve material, and water temperature is also an important parameter in the UV treatment of the wastewater. This UV disinfection process is having two negative impacts. First, it results in the discharge of altered chemicals into the environment, and second is the regrowth of waterborne microorganisms. As the UV process does not use any chemical agent for the disinfection, so it does not release any toxic chemicals into the water stream, but it has the potential to alter the chemicals which are already present in the wastewater into the hazardous compounds. Some microorganisms have the ability to repair their damaged DNA after exposure to UV radiation. So, care should be taken while transporting the treated water through the pipelines, and it has to be ensured that the water free from the harmful microorganism is discharged into the water bodies. The another method of disinfection of the wastewater is ozonation. In this ozonation process, ozone is used. Ozone is a triatomic allotropic form of oxygen, which is a pale blue gas with pungent odor and short half life. Ozone, it is very unstable and potent oxidant, and it is also having the antimicrobial properties. This ozone is formed by electric discharge method, in which oxygen is passed through a high voltage potential, resulting in a third oxygen atom which forms the ozone. In nature, ozone is formed by photochemical and electrical processes. Ozone acts as both the strongest oxidant and the strongest disinfectant applicable for the potable water treatment. It has a number of applications, including disinfection, taste and odor control, color removal, oxidation of iron and manganese present in the water, removal of hydrogen sulfide gas, nitrite and cyanide destruction by its oxidation, and the oxidation of many organic compounds like phenols, pesticides or detergents if present in the water, the destruction of the algae and removal, and this ozone is also acting as a coagulant aid. Coming to the mode of action of the ozone as a disinfectant, an ozone molecule, owing to split of the third atom of oxygen, is a strong oxidant. It is the property which makes it very effective in destroying the microorganisms, even the viruses which causes hepatitis A, influenza, vascular stomatitis and infectious bovine rhinoarchitis. There is a direct or indirect reaction between the ozone and the microorganisms. The direct reaction means ozone reacts directly with the microorganisms, primarily by attacking the double bond of the fatty acids present in the cell wall and membrane, and there is a consequent change in the cell wall permeability and cell contents leak out, causing the death of the microorganism. In the case of viruses, a complete loss of virus protein was responsible for the death of the virus. The high oxidation potential of the ozone oxidizes the cell components of the bacterial cell wall, leading to penetration. Once ozone has entered into the cell, it oxidizes all the essential components present in the cell, like the important enzymes, proteins, DNA and RNA. Two major mechanisms have been identified through which ozone exerts the bactericidal effect. One of them is the oxidation of sulfhydryl groups and amino acids of enzymes, peptides and proteins, and these enzymes, they are regulating the metabolism of a microbial cell, and the second mechanism is based on oxidizing the polyunsaturated fatty acids. When the cellular membrane is damaged during this process, the cell will fall apart, that is the lysis of the cell will occur. This is the direct reaction, but in the indirect reaction, hydroxyl radicals that are formed by the decomposition of molecular ozone in water interacts with these microorganisms. The indirect microbial inactivation is less effective, as microbial cells are composed of high concentration of bicarbonate ions, catalase and peroxidase enzymes, as well as the superoxide dismutase enzyme, which will sequence these hydroxyl free radicals which are formed due to the decomposition of ozone. So, the effect of ozone is also reduced in the some of the bacteria by the presence of carotenoid or flavonoid pigments. So, it is suggested that free radicals provide little benefit in terms of microbial destruction. The bactericidal properties of the ozone have also been demonstrated in the case of gram positive and gram negative microorganisms, as well as in the spores and the vegetative cells. In gram negative bacteria, the lipoprotein and lipopolysaccharide layers of the main cell wall are the sites of the destructive effect of the ozone, which contributes to the increased microorganism cell permeability and the lysis of the cell. Ozone has reactive properties due to the presence of trivalent form of oxygen, and it generates oxygen when it is added to the water as following reaction. The ozone molecule, it will split up to form the diatomic oxygen molecule, as well as the nascent oxygen is released. Because of this reaction, no concentration of ozone persists in the treated effluent. That may require the removal, and the ozone was actually used to disinfect, as is the case with chlorine residuals, because in the case of chlorination process, the residual amount of the chlorine which still persists in the treated water is not good for the environment. But as the oxygen completely dissociates into the molecular oxygen, so there are no negative impacts associated with the ozonation process. Disinfection of the wastewater by ozone has been used since early 90s. Ozone helps in declining the load of the pathogens. It reduces the aggregation of organic waste in the environment. Ozone is widely used for the reduction of wide spectrum of bacteria like E. coli, Listeria from the environment, and this ozone, it leaves no residues. Ozone is also very effective in color removal due to its bleaching action, and it also controls the taste and odor of water. Use of ozone is considered to be efficient than the chlorine because ozone is generated on site as needed and it produces less disinfection byproducts, but chlorine has to be stored on site, it is highly poisonous and it produces enormous harmful byproducts. Due to its high operating cost, the use of ozonation process in the disinfection treatment is limited. Ozone works at low concentration and it requires less contact time than other disinfectants. With increasing pH and temperature, the strength of the ozone decreases. Lifetime of the ozone residue at 15 degrees C and at a pH of 7.6 is reported to be in the order of 40 minutes, but it can be as low as 10 to 20 minutes at higher temperature. This occurs due to decrease in the efficiency of transfer of ozone into the water as the temperature increases. As we know that ozone is very effective disinfectant for the bacteria, viruses and protozoa, and it is less affected by pH variations, produces no byproducts and is very effective against the chlorine resistant protozoa Cryptosporidium than the other disinfectants. But with these advantages, ozonation has some limitations also. The foremost limitation is its capital cost is very high and it is also expensive in operation as it is generated on site and it requires the high skilled maintenance. After ozonation, the most commonly used disinfectant treatment for the water is the chlorination. Chlorination is a well established technology and effective as well as cheap disinfectant from 18th century. And it is very interesting to know that in 1835, a doctor and a writer, Oliver Wendell Holmes, he advised the midwives to wash their hands with the calcium hypochlorite to prevent the spread of midwife fever. However, we only started using chlorine as a disinfectant on a wider scale in the 19th century, after Louis Pasteur discovered that microorganisms spread certain diseases. Chlorination is used in various forms that will kill or inactivate most of the pathogenic organisms that are harmful to human or animal life. It is added to the wastewater either in the form of gas or in the form of tablets, solution, powder or other compounds. Some form of fluorine disinfectants are elemental chlorine, sodium hypochlorite solution, calcium hypochlorite and bromium chloride. It is used both as primary disinfectant and to maintain the residual distribution system. It means chlorine acts as a secondary disinfectant. The forms of chlorine which are used as a disinfectant are chlorine dioxide, chloramines and hypochlorite. This chlorine, it kills the pathogens by breaking the chemical bonds in their molecules. The disinfectants that are used for this purpose consist of chlorine compounds which can exchange atoms with other compounds such as enzymes in bacteria and other cells. When enzymes come in contact with chlorine, one or more of the hydrogen atom in their molecule is replaced by chlorine. This causes the entire molecule to change its configuration and it fall apart. When enzymes do not function properly, the cell or the microbial cell will die. When chlorine is added to water, it undergoes the reaction to form hypochlorous acid, and depending upon the pH, under chloric acid partly expires to hypochlorite ions, and this falls apart to chlorine and oxygen atom, and these reactions they are shown in the slide. Hypochlorous acid and hypochlorite ions will form free chlorine when they bound together. This results in disinfection. Both substances have very distinctive behavior. The hypochlorous acid is more reactive and a stronger disinfectant than hypochlorite. This hypochlorous acid splits into hydrochloric acid and atomic oxygen. This nascent oxygen atom is a powerful disinfectant. The disinfectant properties of chlorine in water are based upon the oxidizing power of free oxygen atom and on chlorine substitution reactions. The inactivation of pathogens by hypochlorous acid is that it reacts with the enzyme system of the cell through its ability to penetrate the cell wall because of its small size and electroneutrality. The chlorine disinfection process occurs primarily through oxidation of cell wall, leading to bacterial cell lysis or inactivation of functional sites on the cell surface. It also damages the DNA, rendering the organism not capable for reproduction. The disinfection effectiveness varies across the range of microorganisms, bacteria being the most sensitive ones, but the protozoans, helminths and viruses, they are the most resistant organisms present in the cell for the chlorination treatment. The effectivity of disinfection is determined by the pH of the water. Disinfection with chlorine will take place optimally when the pH is between 5.5 to 7.5. The hypochlorous acid at this pH reacts faster than hypochlorite ions, and it is 80 to 100 times more effective. The level of hypochlorous acid will decrease when the pH value is higher. With a pH value of 6, the level of hyperchlorous acid is 80%, whereas the concentration of hypochlorite ion is 20%. And as further the pH value increases to 8, this is the other way round. So, chlorine is very effective against enteric bacteria, but it is less effective against other bacterial species. The effective chlorine disinfection depends upon the correct combination of pH, chlorine concentration, contact time, as well as the levels of suspended solids and ammonia present in the water. The advantages of this chlorination process of disinfection includes that it controls the population of disease causing bacteria. It also controls the population of nuisance organisms, and this chlorine treatment will also control the concentration of iron, slime and sulfate reducing bacteria. The large number of iron can be removed from the water by adding chlorine to oxidize the clear soluble iron into the filtrable ferric form of the iron, which is insoluble. Chlorine helps to remove manganese and hydrogen sulfide also from the water in the same way. Along with these advantages, the chlorination process is also having the disadvantages. There are several health and safety risk concerns with the use of chlorine as a disinfectant. The accidental release of chlorine into the environment can occur through volatilization from chlorine containing facilities or through leaks in the storage cylinders or the feed lines. Inhalation of chlorine damages the upper and the lower respiratory tract and also causes severe skin irritation upon physical contact and also can be proved lethal to humans. Chlorine can adversely impact the receiving streams and can adversely impact the biota present in these streams. The residual chlorine and chloramines from the disinfection process are toxic to many aquatic organisms including fishes and oysters. The residual concentration as low as 0.002 ppm have reportedly induced toxic effects in the aquatic organisms. Vegetation can also be affected by the residual chlorine present in the water after the disinfection process. The chlorine present reacts with organic material in the environment and will lead to the formation of the disinfection byproducts. The disinfection byproducts which are formed in the environment by the oxidation of the organic matter are trihalomethanes. When chlorine is used to treat the water supply that contains the organic material or the humic compounds, these trihalomethanes they are produced. These disinfection byproducts are potentially having the adverse impacts on the human health. The lifetime consumption of water supplies with these trihalomethanes at a level greater than 0.1 ppm is considered by the Environment Protection Agency to be a potential cause of cancer. The key disinfection byproduct of the concern are the formation of trihalomethanes and haloacetic acids in the chlorination process. The next disadvantage of the chlorination process is it causes smell and bad taste to the treated water. Because of the higher residual concentration of chlorine, the bad taste will be provided and objectionable smell will be present in the water. Some people are also sensitive to the presence of chlorine in the water. In these cases, after the chlorination treatment, the water has to be passed through the activated carbon or charcoal filters, which will reduce the chlorine levels in the treated water. Students, remember that wastewater disinfection takes place after primary, secondary and sometimes after tertiary wastewater treatment. It is typically a final step of the water treatment to remove the organisms from the treated water before the effluent is discharged into the water bodies. The disinfection prevents the spread of waterborne diseases by reducing the number of pathogenic microorganisms to a regulated level. A variety of physical and chemical methods are used to disinfect the wastewater prior to its release into the natural water bodies. Historically, the chemical agent of choice which is used to treat the municipal wastewater was chlorine due to its disinfecting properties as well as low cost. But at present, the increasing cost of the chlorine and the environmental concerns, that even the low concentration of the residual chlorine present in the water is still toxic to the fish and the other aquatic life. So, alternative physical methods of wastewater disinfection are being adopted such as ozonation or ultraviolet light. The use of ozone as a disinfecting agent has added many benefits to the wastewater treatment system by increasing the dissolved oxygen content of the treated wastewater as well as no toxic residuals are present in the treated water. However, because the ozone needs to be generated on site, the process requires capital expenditure as compared to the traditional process of chlorination. The UV disinfection process has also been growing popularity as a wastewater disinfection method in large parts because of the life cycle economics of the equipment, and the fact that like ozone, there is no toxic byproducts are formed in the UV process of the water treatment. Thank you.